they were literally firing the other bartender that moment.
Yeah.
And the guy said, come back at 7, I'll
Can
put you
you
behind
do
the
it?
bar.
Can
And
you-
that was my test
yeah.
trial and it worked. I had the keys to lock up 2 days later.
My name is Tanya. I have been bartending for like 23 years, and I've probably worked at every dive bar you've ever gone to.
I'm Dan, and I've bartended for over a decade. I've worked at Irish pubs and gay bars, and now specifically I'm working in the catering field.
My name is Francisco. My experience is about like 5-6 years, and now I currently work at Boxers with my shirt off. On a typical Sunday, I have to be there at 12 to open up the bar at 1, getting the ice, making sure the fruit's already adjusted, make sure you sanitize things, and then welcoming the guests or whatnot that come through at 1 o'clock. And then by 9 o'clock, I'm like, deuces, friends, I'm going home.
That's a nice shift, yeah. I'll take that. When I cater, it is much shorter. I'll get in at like 6. We have 2 hours for setup. It'll usually be in somebody's own apartment. A lot of times a product, they'll buy it or they'll just open their liquor cabinet or their wine cellar. And then the party's usually only like 2 or 3 hours. And then I have an hour breakdown.
I am pretty much the opposite. I would start either between 9 and 10 p.m. And you get in and you count your till. Would work till last call, which is generally 3:45, 4-ish a.m. Clean and close the bar for another hour and change. And maybe get home by 6.
I would say memorization, quick math,
I worked at a lot of cash-only bars. Your math has to be crisp.
flexibility, being able to work on your feet.
Also creativity, I think that's a big thing. If you make something your own, oh my gosh, I think people really eat that up.
Being able to talk your way out of anything or through anything, willingness to get dirty. It's not a glamorous job. You need to be willing to take out the trash and
Yeah.
mop up the puke.
I would say too, a willingness to learn. Step up, sometimes they will just throw you behind the bar. You might not know everything and that's okay. You will learn on the spot, but you have to be open-minded.
You can't really manufacture personality, or you can, but it's not authentic, you know?
I think that's why people come back a lot of times. Somebody had said like, oh, you're my favorite bartender. And I'm like, I'm making you a gin and tonic. It's not different from anybody
Yeah.
else's gin and tonic. It's just, you like talking to me and I'm there and I'm happy to bring that energy.
As a bartender, your customer service, the spectrum is so massive that you could transition into other customer service and be really professional about it because of all the scenarios you've dealt with. Some bars are still making serious numbers. If you live in a very oversaturated market, like New York, you might have 4 different jobs. And one might be at a music venue, and one might be at a local bar, and one might be at a cafe, and one might be taking up seasonal.
And I'll say for catering, there's not as much tips because
Yeah.
those are private
'Cause you have a
parties,
higher
but I have a
hourly.
higher hourly.
Yeah.
And so that can be more or as much as a bartending shift. And then you get the very generous person who at the end of the night
Gives you
can
some
send you
extra,
something,
yeah.
And that's always appreciated. Or like the seasonal jobs, as we talked about, of like going to a place and just working there for 3 months.
Yeah.
That can be really lucrative. That can be really exciting and an adventure.
I just did US Open for 3 weeks. You rack up a nice check at the end of all of that. You could go work at Gramercy Tavern full time and have benefits and all that. But then you're working corporate and there's a whole other set of rules. Looking to find inspiration for your next career move? Search Indeed on YouTube. Because you can train almost anybody. And a lot of places will start you as a barback. Prove yourself for 6 months. Then we'll teach you everything we know.
If there's a bar you want to work at,
Hang out.
go to that bar. I've seen it happen where if somebody just gets along with the regulars, then they get a job, and then
That's
the
the old
regulars
school
like
way,
them, and
yeah.
then they know that that's going to keep people there.
Oh, also, I would say if you're doing a resume, like list any POS systems you know. things
That's
that
sometimes
people are-
the hardest thing, getting to a new job and learning a new system.
POS, yeah.
So if you have experience, that's definitely good.
It could be that day you walk in and my barback just quit, and I took your resume and I called you the next day. Right place, right time.
That happened to me. I went to a bar and they were literally firing the other bartender that moment.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "What are you doing tonight? Come back at 7, I'll
Can
put you
you
behind
do
the
it?
bar."
Can
And
you- and-
that was my test
yeah.
trial and it worked. I had the keys to lock up 2 days later.
Don't be hungover. Look.
Good advice.
That's like a huge advice. Bar.
Get
Like,
that electrolyte, man.
get that electrolyte, like moisturize, practice, do a little bit of a skit with a friend and figure out what you're gonna say. Can you change a keg is probably top question. It's not a regular job where you're gonna get asked regular interview questions. It's kind of who are you personality-wise and can you physically do this?
I remember at one interview, they did have questions of like, how do you make your margarita? Little things like that is good to
Bone up
rehearse.
on,
Yeah.
Or also you need to research what their menu is,
Right.
what their clientele is.
Don't be afraid to charm them, right? Using your personality. It's
Yeah.
kind of like an audition.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's big time an audition.
Yeah. And if they don't call you back, it's okay. Because that means that there's a better place for you somewhere else.
Yeah, I think the laws definitely differ from state to state, but it's important to do research and see what your state needs
Yeah,
for certification.
for
and all
sure.
that.
Your food handler's license?
Food handler's license, tip certification. It's also like a skill you can do anywhere. Yeah, you can stop and start and pick up, or you could go to California tomorrow and get a job, or go live in Berlin for 6 months. Like, you really can, live your best life.
Check out more job insights right here on Indeed's channel.